Hey everybody, welcome to the Success is a Choice podcasting network. Today's episode is a special Leadership Now session. It's where we take kind of a current event in sports and we mesh it with leadership, where leadership and sports interacts. And today we have Darrin Gray on the show today. And some of you may recognize him or be aware of him or remember we had him for a full-scale, full-length conversation back on episode 59 of the Success is a Choice podcast. So you can check that out. We'll put that in the show notes. You can check that out at a later time to get more of his background. But he's joining us today because there's this great event coming up at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio on Father's Day weekend. It's the Fatherhood Festival. And Darrin is kind of us to join, He's kind. He's very kind man, but it's very kind of Darrin to join us today, talk about that a little bit. So Darrin, thanks so much for joining us. Fatherhood Festival, give us this snapshot, give us this 30,000 foot view of what the Fatherhood Festival is all about at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Well, Jamie, thanks for asking. It came as a result of how critical I think fathering is in America. What is it that we need to do to help make sure that we're doing our most important earthly jobs? And that's to be a better husband, a better father, a father figure and role model in our community. And so there's a collaborator and a friend of mine by the name of Justin Batt, who started a strategy a few decades ago or a few years ago called Daddy Saturday. I really admire him a lot. And he wanted to help to run a strategy with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And so as a result of a lot of conversations, we were able to get that launched. It's called the Fatherhood Festival, and you can learn about it at fatherhoodfestival.com. And all weekend long, there will be a series of activities that launch on Friday night with the world's largest screening of Kurt Warner's movie called American Underdog. So really accessible project, lots of community groups in the area that'll be bringing out, both at promise kids, maybe kids that don't have a parent, that will pair them with mentors. And we've got a fun strategy built there with the help of Fathers Incorporated and many other father organizations across the country that are leaning in to make that possible. But that's Friday night, June 17th. And it's very accessible. Tickets are available now on Ticketmaster.com. Just put in Fatherhood Festival and you'll find the Friday night event. But Saturday is an interactive program down on the turf and in the state-of-the-art facility called Tom Benson Stadium. That's at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Village. It's a remarkable place and so many awesome things that will be going on there. But we divide the day into four primary areas. We start with the Dad Combine. That's the on-field part of that. That's the Anthony Muñoz station, the Mike Singletary station, the Sean Alexander station, where we'll theme it around a football position, but we'll have fun teaching great father and family lessons so that dads and kids can get together with their children and spend quantity time learning having quality moments and ultimately growing together, but a tremendous way to learn and grow. So that's the Dad Combine. But in the Dad Zone, we're going to have lots of media, lots of pro athletes. There will be more than a dozen that'll be present. That'll be there to help greet fans and really make moments happen, and a lot of super things going on in the Dad Zone. And then we've got the Dad Games, which will be in the outfield, and we'll be playing games and various fun ways for dads of daughters to have time, dads of kids, for father figures and mentors to spend time with young people. And then we've got the Moms Huddle. And the Moms Huddle is a great place for moms to come along and be close enough to it, but to allow a father and child to have some special moments together. And they come together at mealtime, and then they go back down on the field. So it's going to be a special thing. But that all culminates at 4:00 on June the 18th with these Father of the Year awards. It's going to be super interesting, and we're still in the process of doing all the balloting around that, but you don't want to miss that. And then immediately following that, we're going to go have what we call overtime. And overtime is a special moment that we're able to say, hey, if you want to learn why we do what we do and what motivates us, then meet me at the 50-yard line. Every NFL game ends in that way, where the two competing teams come together at the 50, many times under the leadership of Athletes in Action chaplains that are there with them at the 50-yard line. and they come together and they pray. So we're going to do the same and invite families to enter into that. And we'll have a simple moment where we'll have a faith opportunity for people to learn about the Lord if they need to, and or to recommit themselves. And then many local churches and other community ambassadors will be there with us to help get people plugged into the community and ultimately learn to grow and be the best they can be. Then that evening, we've got a concert that's going to happen, a country music concert, a great young artist. His name is Jordan Davis, of the song Buy Dirt. For those of you that don't know it, right, settle down and buy some dirt. And really, he's a great father, a family man, a believer, and somebody that we're proud to have as a featured artist that evening. And then the following day, the 19th, that's actually Father's Day. And I got to believe somebody's going to be listening today that really wants to learn about all of that. You can learn more at fatherhoodfestival.com. But then culminates on Sunday with a program I'm super excited about inside the Pro Football Hall of Fame with guys like Anthony Muñoz and others, where we're telling the fatherhood stories that are held deep within the archives of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Think about it this way. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is kind of like an iceberg where 90% of the things inside the museum are below the surface. They're held in the archives, but we're going to pull out some of those. We're going to curate some special exhibits, and we're going to tell stories about the Minister of Defense, Reggie White. We're going to tell stories about Tom Landry. We're going to tell stories that really matter, that date back many decades around the center of faith and fatherhood inside the Hall of Fame. So I couldn't be more excited about that. And I look forward to seeing some of your listeners there with us. And we're selling tickets and tables for that. If folks want to learn more, just log on to fatherhoodfestival.com to learn more, or reach out to me in the social spaces and find me directly, and I'll share more about it with them.
Yeah, we're talking with Darrin Gray, and you can follow him on Twitter, Darrin with 2 R's, Darrin Gray, Gray 2020. That's on Twitter and Instagram. And you can check his stuff out there. But Darrin's talking with us about the Fatherhood Festival at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And you mentioned there's lots of interactive stuff to do during this weekend. All right, if I'm a dad listening to this, do I have to start my workout program now? Do I have to do agility drills now? Do I have to get in shape? Do I have to be in shape to come to this and do any of these interactive things with my son?
It's funny that you asked that. We do ask that you sign a waiver because there are some on-field activities, and believe me, I've run over 100 stadium events around the country, and we got to be prepared. But no, you don't have to be an elite athlete to come in. We think of it as football drills that teach life skills, but in reality, we're going to teach you how to make a handoff at the Shaun Alexander Station, one of the greatest running backs of all time, hopefully a future Hall of Famer, on the cover of Madden 05 NFL MVP, kind of just fun stuff. But in reality, we're going to teach about what it is that families need to learn about to understand how to share that love, right? I believe in you because I love you because I'm proud of you because all these special moments that'll happen over the course of that weekend-long experience that families will really enjoy. And it's things that, you'll come out and you'll compete and you'll have fun with other dads in community. But in reality, it's an awful lot about who you are as a father to say, you know what, I should be there. I want to be there with my children. And quite frankly, we're finding that lots of moms are buying this as a Father's Day gift for their dads in their lives. And some of them are coming and some are just sending them away for the day, especially on that Saturday, the 18th of June, to come out for that festival, to spend time and to make memories and to have these epic experiences together.
And that's a great point, Darrin. If you're a mom out there or a wife out there looking, you're tired of getting ties for your husband, or, hey, what do we do for your dad for a gift? Man, this is a great opportunity. This is something that is going to be long lasting, has memories. It's a great experience. And especially if your husband or dad loves football, this is a great way to kind of scratch that itch now that football season is, we're in the off season now. So a great opportunity to get over there to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And the ticket prices are pretty reasonable. You can go to fatherhoodfestival.com and check out those prices. Friday night, you mentioned Kurt Warner.
Mm.
The movie is going to be playing at the stadium. Tell us a little bit more about Kurt Warner for those people maybe tuning in, listening to this that aren't familiar with Kurt Warner. Why should we care? And even if we do care and we know who he is, we may not even have known that he had a movie or there's a movie about his life.
Yeah, well, we're grateful that we have the opportunity through Kurt and his movie company to help make that possible, Lionsgate. But Kurt's a remarkable story. For those of you that don't know, right? He was playing in the minor league of pro football. He was bagging groceries, and with a coach named Dick Vermeil, found a way to make it to the big leagues and ultimately win some championships with the help of Marshall Faulk and some others. Right, he had a good team around him. Right, he wasn't all on his own, but Kurt's a remarkable leader, and he's a person that you can look up to and trust. And while he won't be physically present on site with us because it's his anniversary and he's got some stuff going on with Brenda that evening, we knew that we could use his movie as a community catalyst to help touch the hearts and minds of people. And it's an extremely affordable way for dads, kids, community groups. We've got the state of Ohio that's backing this event, and they're bringing out large groups of youth that are going to come out and experience this. And then we're going to communicate with them and give them the hope that they need to ultimately become the best version of themselves. So that's what's going on with American Underdog.
And you mentioned your event or the event that you're really excited about. You're obviously excited about all of these things going on, all the events, everything on the schedule. Great stuff. Talk a little bit more about the event that you're specifically have a part in. You kind of held it up earlier. You kind of showed us the flyer for that. Talk a little bit more about that event. Yeah, there it is. There it is. For the people listening in their car, you obviously can't see it, so you need to head over to YouTube and watch it on YouTube. But Darrin, talk about that a little bit more, if you would.
Yeah, so the Father's Day brunch and VIP tours with Anthony Muñoz and other special guests, that's going to be a real look-see into the Pro Football Hall of Fame archives for the fatherhood and the faith stories. So I got the privilege last week of going down into the archives with the chief archivist and spent time together thinking about what it was that's happening at the Hall of Fame. Why do so many of the induction speeches, right, have in it, right, this notion of, hey, I couldn't get here on my own. I got here with the help of my father, my mother. Family is at the fabric of that. But there's also a lot of biblical references, Bible verses, and opportunities for people to share their faith. And so John Kendall from the Pro Football Hall of Fame and he's the vice president of the archives and education and football information, helped me just to spend some time reflecting on, why was Tony Dungy's Bible in his induction locker on the top shelf? And why was I privileged to be the first person to stand at that locker with Tony Dungy when he hadn't even seen it yet? We were there early in 2005, 5 years ago, I believe it was 2015, for Tony's induction to help do a project with Joe Gibbs called Game Plan for Life. So we were there early, and immediately following that, Tony and I ran down to his locker. Let's check this out. I've got some fun snapshot moments with he and his son, Justin. It was super interesting, but hey, Tony, what chapter was your Bible turned to and why? So we're going to reveal those kind of little stories that are very meaningful. Who did he learn that from? And ultimately, he learned that what his Bible was turned to, which I'm not going to share with you because you got to come to the event to learn about it. But he learned about that from the chaplain of the Minnesota Vikings when he was an assistant coach under Denny Green up there after he had already been the defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Remarkable story, right? All of these things stitched together, and it's an opportunity for Tony to share the love of Christ, to connect with people, and his Bible was emblematic of who he was as a leader and how it is that he taught and shaped the teams that ultimately led him to not only create those amazing championship caliber teams with the Bucs, although they never won the Super Bowl with him, they won it the following year with Coach Gruden, and then at the Colts, they did win a championship. for that great Super Bowl XLI championship game. We'll be telling those stories. We'll be inspiring people, but an eye toward the biblical reference points. And I know people will want to do that. It'll be a faith-forward event. It's a private event. There will be a VIP meet and greet, a chance for you to meet some of these stars. We're selling tables for $2,500, and I need to sell a couple of more. Those dollars are going to then help to support my ministry of availability at Athletes in Action with the work that I do. You can learn more about all of those things and ultimately find a way to help support the good work and then support all that we're doing around fathers and families throughout the community of the greater Canton, Akron, Cleveland, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. I mean, this is accessible, Canton, Ohio, within a 3-hour radius of so many great cities that all love football too. So think about it this way: the epicenter of football and the epicenter of fatherhood coming together for the long weekend of Fatherhood Festival and the Hall of Fame and Fatherhood Weekend. So I appreciate the chance to come share that with folks here today. And people are literally welcome to reach out to me directly for that banquet if they want to come on that Saturday morning. It's darringray2020@gmail.com. Just check me out. I'm accessible. I would love to connect with you and find a way to get you involved that, whether that be a sponsorship or buy a table or a ticket. And it's something that's going to be truly remarkable as we story mine the biblical, the fatherhood, and the faith stories inside of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Reach out to Darrin Gray 2020@gmail.com. $2,500 a table. That might seem like a lot, but when you start to break it down per person, it's not terrible. And when you just think of the greater good, the greater cause, it's just a way to help get a good positive message out more and to support a good cause. We appreciate that. You've mentioned Tony Dungy. You worked with him with All Pro Dads. And you've seen firsthand his integrity and what he's meant to so many people. Why is an event like this so important? We talk about, all right, it's fatherhood, and it might seem like it's an obvious thing, but why is it important to include fathers or All Pro Dads, the organization that you used to work for? Why are these things so important?
Well, I think of it this way: fatherhood is open source. Fatherhood is all play. Like, we've all got to be the men and got to step up to be fathers, role models, father figures, mentors in the community. And it's such a critical thing. And the NFL knows that. The Pro Football Hall of Fame knows that. While I don't work full-time as a W-2 employee of All Pro Dad, it's always forever in my heart. And we're so grateful to Mark Merrill and George Woods and all those that I worked alongside with Tony Dungy and a whole cast of characters that were spokespeople, including Tony Dungy, who founded it, along with a man by the name of Clyde Christensen. And Clyde is now the quarterback coach of the Buccaneers, who has the distinction of being the coach of a couple of the GOATs, right? We could have an argument here today about, hey, I'm Tom Brady's quarterback coach. Hey, I'm Peyton Manning's quarterback coach back with the Colts. But think about that. Like, how do we shepherd and coach and father and lead? And so as I bring up those kind of names, know that these are aspirational role models. These are people that we can look up to and that we can trust. And so, in conversation with guys like Tony, we know that the old stories lead us back to guys like Brian Dawkins, Isaac Bruce, Joe Gibbs, Aeneas Williams, Tom Landry, Curtis Martin, Reggie White, Bart Starr. All of these leaders that we can look up to, whether we knew them or not, whether we saw them from afar or whether we ever met them. They're folks that we can trust their legacies, and we can study them, and we can go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and go into the museum and see artifacts about who they are. Wouldn't you know that so often family, fatherhood, and the values that instills, caring for others, right? Less of me, more of you, Lord. In those moments, I say it this way: it's less about meism and more about weism. Like, how can we know that we're better together? And that mantra plays out in families and communities and churches. And ultimately, we think that fathering is a central message that we need to just keep lifting up, and Father's Day weekend is a great weekend to do that in the case of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Hall of Fame Village in partnership to bring this all together.
Well, if you are anywhere in the Northeast Ohio area, Western Pennsylvania, if you're within driving distance of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Father's Day weekend, definitely encourage you to get over there. Great event. If you're not in the area, or if you are in the area or you're not in the area, it doesn't matter. You can still sponsor a table. Reach out to Darrin Gray 2020@gmail.com. Be part of this some way, either taking a son, making it possible for a child to go, making it possible for a table, being a table sponsor in some way. Try to figure out a way that you can be involved in this. It's a great event, the Fatherhood Festival at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Darrin, anything else that you wanted to get out there or leave us with as we sign off here?
You want to come meet your heroes. Mike Singletary, right? Championship, Bears, Super Bowl 85 team. I mean, he's going to be there at the event, accessible and connecting with people, both from the main stage, but also down on the field. Anthony Muñoz, so the greatest offensive lineman of all time. Like, walk up, have a conversation. There's going to be special moments. Dave Robinson, a great Hall of Famer, along with Sean Alexander, Chris Draft, Levon Kirkland. I mean, just guys that are synonymous with character and values. And so we couldn't be more excited about this opportunity and what it is that we're doing together. We thank Athletes in Action and Fellowship of Christian Athletes and all those that are coming around this event to help celebrate it in the community of Canton, Cleveland, Akron, and the greater areas around that all love football. So we thank you for having me on this live stream today. Hopefully we've connected with more than a few people that'll be inspired by this quick conversation. And I appreciate the work that you do every week to help lift up all that is good in sports and give guys a leadership playbook to help make a difference: academic, athletic, social, spiritual, all the dimensions which we all need to grow in, and ultimately to become the best version of ourselves as leaders and as fathers, mentors, role models, and citizens of this world. So I thank you for the work that you do, and all of your listeners. We look forward to seeing you at Fatherhood Festival. That's at fatherhoodfestival.com.
Awesome. Darrin, really appreciate your time. Know you're busy helping with the organization of this great event, Father's Day weekend. Once again, check it out, fatherhoodfestival.com. We appreciate you joining us here on the Success is a Choice podcast network. And as always, thank you to you, the listener. Thank you to you, the viewer, our audience, for supporting our show all the time, for listening. And remember, success is a choice. What choice will you make today?